Welcome my friends, Seven Gray here. Thank you for joining me for this video today. I'm in Zaragoza, which is a northeast area of Spain. I'll put a little map here so you can see where it's at. This is the 5th largest city in Spain, so it's a large area, but it has a sort of an old downtown area. So I'm going to wander around today, but I want to talk about expenses. How much does it cost to come here as a tourist? So I'll be looking at accommodations, food from a supermarket, as well as some restaurants. Be looking at transportation costs. If you want to stay in a hostel, I'll give you some costs for hostels. There's actually only one, which is right behind me. They call it an auberge here, which is a Spanish word which means inn. If you're a couple or you want a private room, Airbnb may be the way to go. So I'll look at some of those costs as well. The supermarket is located about 2 blocks or so from my hostel, so I'm just wandering up the street here. And hopefully I don't get kicked out of the supermarket. This has happened a couple of times in Europe. They're not too keen on people walking around with cameras shooting video of their prices. Prices in the supermarket are all in euros. The conversion rate right now is about $1.15 for every euro. So when you see a price of €1, think $1.15, so round it up just a little bit. And that includes sales tax. In the United States, sales tax is typically between 7 and 9%, depending on what kind of food products you're buying and other stuff. This is the supermarket back here I'm going to go to. It's called the Mercadona. I'm going to go in and see if I can capture some videos and prices.
Salads are actually a pretty good deal over in Europe, particularly in Spain, coming in between 2 and 3 euros. That's roughly $2 or $3. Fruit juices are actually also a great deal. These are unrefrigerated and are usually sold in cardboard boxes for €1 up to €2. Pretty good deal. One of the single best deals that you can get all over Spain is wine. You can get wine starting at under €2. That's like $2 for a bottle of wine, and the quality is fantastic. And you can get spectacular wines for 6, 7, 8 euros, something like that. So they're just absolutely stunning deals. Eggs are actually similar prices to the United States, with 6 eggs, which is a half dozen, starting for 50 cents. And you can get a full dozen for €1.50 up to $2.50. Roughly the same price as the US. I'm embarrassed to say I actually don't know prices for cereal in the United States, but cereal prices in Europe are €1.50 to €2. Seems like a pretty good deal. Pasta prices seem very similar to the United States, maybe slightly less, starting in about 50 cents, going up to €1.50 to €2 for various kinds of pasta. Another fabulous deal all over Spain is virgin olive oil. Any sort of olive oil is super cheap. You can get it for 2, 3 euros for big bottles, and up 5, 6 euros you can get gigantic bottles of olive oil. Excellent deal. Milk is another area that is really unique to Europe in that it's sold typically in cartons, like cardboard cartons, and it's sold unrefrigerated on the shelf, and it's sold in 1 and 2 liter sizes. Costs are roughly equivalent to the United States as far as what you're paying per liter or per gallon. So you're going to see that, I don't know, $1.50, €1.50 for a gallon, which would maybe be 2 liters, something like that. So prices are comparable. Bread is very similar to other places in Spain. In Zaragoza, you can get rolls and buns for 30 cents, something like that. Baguettes also start in 30, 40 cents. And you can usually get a full roll of bread for under €2. Pretty good deal. I think lunch meats are actually a better deal in Spain and Zaragoza than most of areas in the United States. For 1, 1.5 euros, €2, you can get a lunch meat pack, which is oftentimes what I'll go to make sandwiches for myself. Another cheap item to look for is frozen pizzas. You can get frozen pizzas for 2 and 3 euros. A great way to go if you want to stay on a budget while you're traveling.
Overall, the supermarket prices here in Zaragoza are fairly good, fairly cheap. It's a lot cheaper than, say, some of the prime tourist locations in Spain, because Zaragoza itself is not really on the must-see city list in Spain. So the residents here are pretty much locals or people that are from out of Spain that have come here looking for employment in the large city. So the prices are pretty stable and local prices. You can easily eat in the supermarket for, say, €1.50 for a meal. You can buy some bread and some lunch meat, make a sandwich, ramen, things like that. So easily you can eat a meal for under €2. I'm going to head down and find some restaurants in the central downtown area. This is really the most tourist area that you'll find here. So I'm going to go look at some prices of menus there. And behind me is an old Roman wall, and this is sort of the central downtown area. One of the tips when you're looking for food in a restaurant is to look for the menu del dia, the menu of the day. And usually they'll have some sort of special that is a combination of a drink, some sort of salad or a starter, and then your main meal. So if you look for the menu del dia, it's going to be some sort of combination plate, which usually you'll save 30 or 40% by going with that. Behind me is a bar cafe. Here you can see some breakfast prices. Desayunos is breakfast, and you can see you can get a coffee and a bread for €2. This is pretty standard to get a €2 combination of a drink with some sort of bread. So coffee and a mini bacata, coffee and a croissant, €2. That's pretty standard for a lot of places for breakfast, and it is sort of the thing of choice. I'm going to come back here later today and get a chocolate and churros for €3. That's pretty awesome. It's really fun. So you can see some of the other prices. Over here you can see the menu of the day, menu del dia, and this is a $10.50, and it's going to include a starter and then your main plate. So you can choose from one of these items up here, like a salad, and then you can choose your main plate down here, which there's a variety of things you can choose from. My Spanish is not good enough to know what all these are. You just gotta love how beautiful this city is. Just walking around little courtyards like the one I'm walking through with a fountain in the middle and a cathedral in the back. See the beautiful cathedral back here, and then the fountain right here behind me with the statue. It's really gorgeous just to walk through here and find a little cafe, sit out on the sidewalk, and watch all the interesting things that go by. Another thing to keep in mind as you're in Spain and going out to stores, restaurants, any commercial business like that, is in the afternoon from about 2 o'clock to 4, sometimes 5 o'clock, they'll be closed for siesta. So all the businesses will just shut down during that time. So you want to keep that in mind and not do a late lunch. You want to make sure you get your lunch before 2 o'clock and then realize that it's going to be after 4 or 5 before places open again. If you're looking to go out for dinner, then dinner restaurants are typically going to be opening up at 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Spaniards like to eat their dinners about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. It's a very late meal here, sometimes even later than that. Friends will get together at 9 or 10 o'clock at night to eat dinner. It's very common here, and then they end up going home about 11:30, trying to get home and get in bed by midnight. One of my go-to meals for lunches and sometimes dinners when I'm traveling all over Europe is the doner kebab. So you can find these shops anywhere in Europe, almost all cities, and it's one of the cheapest go-to sandwiches that you can find. Here are the prices. The one that's wrapped in a tortilla up here is called a durum, which is one of the options. So you can either get the durum or the pita. I prefer the pita. So you can see the prices here, €4, €4, and you can do a mixed, which is chicken and beef, for €5. And you can choose the Turkish bread, which is the second one here, which is what I love, or you can get it in the tortilla. You also have a combination plate which comes with chips and a drink, and so that starts at €6. They make the doner kebab from this giant rotisserie kind of meat thing that spins around and heats, and then they cut off all the meat here to make the sandwich for either your durum or your doner. It's a nice pedestrian walkway here. A lot of little shops, clothing stores, jewelry, little cafes, and at the very end is this beautiful cathedral. I'm walking around on a Wednesday morning. You can see all the people that are doing their shopping out here and wandering around. I think most of these people are probably locals. Behind me is a small cafe, primarily specializing in bread and sandwiches. But let me show you some of their prices. Here you can get a Spanish sandwich for €1.50 up to $2.95. These are commonly called pinchos. And here you can see a couple more sandwiches, again, $1.50 and $2.95. Beautiful little sandwiches. This is the Zeneyato cafeteria. Over here you can see they're offering desayuno, which is a breakfast, and it says deste, which is starting at $1.90. So that's for a croissant and a drink starting at $1.90. That's pretty typical for a breakfast of just a coffee with a croissant. I'm walking back the other way looking for a few more cafes, but you can see this beautiful view walking down the pedestrian walkway with the cathedral at the end. Behind me is the El Real restaurant here. This is really a gorgeous setting with outdoor seating right in front of the cathedral. I imagine this is going to be the premium tourist price if you're sitting down having a coffee, a sandwich, or just getting some lunch. Let's look at the prices. Over here you can see the prices. The entrees are starting at $11.50 going up to 15 euros. I'm not sure what paella is, but it looks like these are starting at about 15 euros going up to 20 euros. These might be the main dishes. And then over here it looks like this is desserts, dulce final, which dulce means like sweets, final sweets. And these are going to be $4.50 up to $5.20. You can also get some meat. So this is young lamb shoulder starting at $18.80. I just found a very beautiful, quaint area inside where they have a number of very nice high-end restaurants. This is going to be premium tourist prices here across from the Cathedral Basilica area. Let me show you some of these prices. You can see the menu of the day here. First course and second course is going to be 20 euros for an adult. If you're a tourist coming here, this is probably the main place you'll want to visit, the main plaza and all the surrounding areas. There's going to be a basilica here you can visit for free. I think cathedral you can go in for 4 euros. 2 or 3 museums that are going to be free as well. So next I want to look at transportation costs. What does it cost for a bus or a metro here within the city limits, which they offer both. I'm walking down through the central area right next to the metro tracks, headed towards the machines to look and see how much it is to ride on the metro. This is the machine where you buy your tickets. Boletas are the tickets in Spain, that's Spanish. And down here I can select English and then single ticket. And then it shows here for a single ticket is €1.35. That's a pretty good deal. I talked to the information guys here. They don't speak any English, but I was able to get through in Spanish and discover that if you have a local card, a plastic card that you can preload with credits to use on the bus or on the metro, it's about 70 cents, less than €1 per ride. And it's the same exact cost to ride on a bus versus riding on a metro. If you don't have that card, then you're going to be paying €1.35 for one way on either the bus or on the metro. This is the metro here that's approaching. It's very, very modern, very nice. And over there is the bus. You can see what the buses look like. But to be quite honest, even though you have metro and buses here, you're probably not going to need them. Most of the sites that you'll want to see as a tourist or traveler here are going to be easily within walking distance. Let's talk about costs of accommodations here in Zaragoza. There's only one hostel here in this city, and it's right across the street from me. This is where I'm staying. I'm paying 16 euros a night. That does not include bed sheets, which are an extra 3 euros. So for under 20 euros, you can find a place to stay in a hostel.
You'll find some great options and great prices on Airbnb, starting anywhere from $12, $13 up over $20. Absolutely fantastic options, especially when you compare it to hostels or hotels. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Savor the moment. See you next episode.